So as you can all see, email communication and etiquette. Here we are going to just touch the part of the email communication and the etiquette. Why etiquette word is added here? Because the way we do communicate with people in a formal place, we are supposed to follow certain etiquettes. So we do need to understand the importance of our tone, the importance of the language in which we are just going to speak to the people. Similarly, written communication is also very important, and it is highly very important when you do write in a formal place. Okay, and most of the time in formal place, when we do talk about the written communication, then it is related with email communication. So obviously, when we are supposed to speak to the people in a verbal manner or in written manner, also we are supposed to follow certain etiquettes. So let's move towards it. What is email etiquette? Etiquette governing communications on the internet. So, internet, whatever you do, it's visible to all of us. It's visible to others. So, whatever you are putting there, it's a kind of public thing. So, any person can see it. Okay. So, you have to make sure what are the governing communication you are following. Those are related with etiquette. Those are related with normal formal communication in terms of email, writing, and all. Rules for how to communicate appropriately and respectfully online. There are certain rules. Let's see. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? What is the importance of it? Good email communication skills are part of succeeding in college and on the job. If you know how to do a proper drafting of the mail, then you are able to communicate effectively in the written form also. I have seen students when they are supposed to attach certain things and sending it to me last year. Some of the students, they just attached the information, they just forwarded it. They have not written anything, their name, no any subject line and all. It becomes really very annoying. Okay, so you should know how to do that. If you would be participating in certain events, especially in these days, lots of online events are happening. Then you would be connected with formal email, and how you're writing the email, how you're sending it to the people, okay, and how you're sending it to your teachers, your main coordinator, how you're doing it. So it's really a part of succeeding in college and on the job. Also, help it helps you make a good impression. Of course, if you're writing a good design email, following the etiquettes, you're going to create a good kind of impression. It also makes very like likely to the people who are going to get the response. So make it more likely. It is really very going to make it more likely that you will get the response you want. So if you send your messages to the people, whatever desired information you want, if you are writing in a very different manner, in a very impressive manner, then of course you will be getting the response. And people do reply to the mail because that is the formal way of replying. They have to, but you should know how to get your reply, and for that you should know how to write the email. Certain basic rules of email communication. Be sure to include the following. These following points you are supposed to understand, and you are supposed to include all these. Okay, like proper subject line. Proper subject line. Subject line is the main thing which would be visible to the person. If you open your email, so subject line will be visible at front. So while writing the subject line, make sure that how you are writing it, it is really going to fulfill the purpose, whatever you are asking for. It should have a proper language, okay, a proper structure also, because subject line is the first thing which will be visible to the person who is going to open. And it is visible to the person who is just sitting next to him also. So you have to make sure that what kind of language you are putting there. So you have to be always in a kind of position where you are keeping the message in a very polite manner and crisp manner also. Greeting has to be there, which is coming after that. That is also called salutation. Dear sir, dear ma'am, dear team, uh, dear classmates, dear gentlemen, dear teachers, whatsoever. Okay, and then you are supposed to include the introduction. Introduction, if it is required, that I am writing this mail in order to remind you, in order to bring into your notice regarding the event, regarding something else. So you have to give a proper introduction. And requesting is the main part, guys. You always are supposed to put up the info, whatever language you are putting it. Obviously, you'll be writing a letter in order to make the person informed about the certain things, or you may be asking for something certain things. So you have to be in the request mode. Okay, so you are supposed to include modals here, the language. Okay, add, would you please, would you, would, could, should not, would, could, should be added. Okay, and thank you. Closing remarks and the signature. All these points are really very important. Basic rules. Remember that direct language can sound harsher in email than in person. So you have to remember that direct language can sound harsher in email than in person. So you have to make sure what kind of language you are putting across. You have to be really very proper in putting up your language. It should not sound very harsh. It should not be sounding like you are going to give the order to the person. You are just trying to have a command and you are demanding something. It should not sound like that. So that's why you have to make sure that what kind of language you are using there. Use proper written, not spoken language. Proper written language, not spoken language. Okay, do not assume that the reader will get a joke or understand sarcasm. Please try to understand. While speaking, we add humor, we add some kind of joke so that people may understand sarcasm and they will laugh. But do not assume that the reader who is going to read your email will get a joke or understand sarcasm. It's not needed at all. Be thoughtful and respectful in what you write. Thoughtful and respectful in what you write. Thoughtful, why? Because you have to make sure before sending the mail, reading it twice, thrice, that what language, what kind of information I'm going to bring in, I'm going to put across to the person. It should be really very thoughtful and then respectful in the language also. Do not make demands. Okay, I have already spoken about that. Do not make demands. Choose your word very carefully. Assume everything you write is a public document. I told you already. Whatever you write, it becomes a kind of proof for that person. So whatever you write, um, make sure that you are not using any absurd language, you are not using any very different tone. You are using the language which sound polite, which would sound impressive also. Avoid talking about other people in an email message. Please do not. People do have tendency of complaining and they put across the name of the people, and that can be taken into different kind of way, and the person can take the disadvantage of that. Use proper grammar, sentence structure, spell check your message. Always try to do that. The importance of the email is really very mm, like grooming in these days. Like it's blooming. Why? And just because of this, new kinds of apps are available there. You may have heard about the Grammarly. So Grammarly is an app through which you can check your grammar, you can check your sentence structure, you can check your spell, and it gives you lots of insight whenever you apply that. Okay, but you have to make sure that whatever language you are doing, even though you are following Grammarly, please try to recheck what how it is sounding. If your message includes a request, always close with a thank you to the recipient for considering it. Do not expect or demand an immediate response. Please don't do that. People have the tendency of asking as soon as possible. You have to reply. You have to reply. Please don't do that. Reread your message before sending it and rephrase it. Please try to reread your message all the time before sending it and rephrasing it also how it is sounding. Rephrasing means you are repeating by your own. You are just making certain sound like you are reading. Reading means reading it louder a little bit so that you should also understand the tone which should be how the tone of the particular language particular message will be sounded to the person who's going to read out that. There are again certain basic rules. If you receive a confusing or unclear message, sometimes it happens, give the writer the benefit of doubt. Do not get into the deep and try to find out lots of things and getting irritated. No, give the writer the benefit of doubt. Ask politely for clarification. Suggest discussing the matter in person. Now, if the person has tendency of writing lots of messages, okay, and sometimes they do not know the importance of making the message in crisp, rather than just they are just putting lots of things when they may be irritated with something, or they may not be happy with certain things, and they may be writing lots of things and it will be so huge. It's just like similar when you have a kind of argument with one person through WhatsApp, and they start sending messages and big messages, maybe 4, 5, 6, and 10 line bigger messages, and people do not see that. Do you? No. Instead of writing a big messages, you should call that person and should know. It happens most of us. It happens with most of us, and it may have happened with you also. Suggest discussing the matter in person if it is confusing. So this is the example, guys. Sample email message. Okay. See the subject line. Technical reporting memo question. Question. Technical reporting memo question. Dear Miss Guard, I am a student in your technical reporting class. See, technical reporting, T and R are capital, okay, because it is mentioning about particular class. And I am confused about today's homework assignment. I would appreciate it if you could explain what you mean by incident report. Is there a place in the textbook where I can find an example? Thank you very much for your help. Sincerely, Jim Smith. See the message here. Very clear indication of everything. Very crisp information. How the person is using and taking the reference of the previous the class, and then how the person is using model like I would, could you could, such like that. Okay, now see the difference. Okay, here the person has not written the subject line. Okay, and now the person is saying, I have been working on the homework for like 2 hours and I don't get it. What's the point and what I'm supposed to do? I have got way too much going on and have to work tonight. Jim, see the difference. Guys, you people are able to find the mistakes? Not in a grammar, only in a grammar aspects. Lots of things are there. The tone, see the language I have. Guys, what are the mistakes? Mistakes as in like, what can you consider as a mistake here? Tell me, guys. I told you I will be asking for the. I just need to have your interactions also. Tell me, guys.
No subjects.
Okay, check it out. The
Yes, written
language.
everything in shortcut, sir. I mean,
Hmm.
I have working, everything is written in shortcut.
It has not to be there like that. Like I-V-E. Then working, and working is short. Homework is short. And look at the tone when she just mentioned what's the point and what I'm supposed to do. So this is the very wrong kind of message made. Guys, now here we are going to move ahead with sending emails and letters. What can be here? How you can put up your opening phrase and how you can put up your closing phrases. Okay. Opening phrases like you're supposed to start with. So certain structures are supposed to be followed. Like in reply to your letter, when you're referring to the other thing, the previous thing. Thank you for your letter of May 14th. Again, referring here, thanks for your email. Following our phone conversation. People here sometimes do talk about, as per our telephonic conversation, I am writing this mail in order to recall you, or in order to bring into your notice that I have gone through this. And your opening phrase will lead you, not lead you, or your opening phrase lead to the main body of the mail. Okay. And the closing phrase. Please contact me again if you need any more information. If I can be of any further assistance, please do contact me again. Let me know if you need anything else. I look forward to hear from you soon. This is how people are. Reasons for writing. Reasons for writing. Why you writing a letter? This letter is to. I am writing to. I am pleased to. I would be pleased if you. Could you please? Would you please? The models use of that. Please email me. Just a quick note too. I'm sorry to inform you. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Apologize for that. Something like that. Model. Model. Okay. People do talk about model. This is the example. Modal is something else. Okay, just could, should, would. Those are the modals. Subject: meeting with Mr. Jenkins. Concise but a specific subject. Concise. It has to be concise, but it has to be specific also. Subject: done. Marketing meeting. Dear brand. Polite greeting. Use of comma. Commas should be there. Okay. See the example here, guys. Okay. Subject: marketing meeting. Hi, Brian. Further to our conversation of 15th June, reference to the previous contact. Introduce. My company is currently creating a new series of leather product, and so I am writing. Okay. Background should be there, as you know, the value of the Dow Jones Index and increase 155 and all. So, and the greeting, and the closing. Thank you for the very informative speech by you. See the Abhinathan. Here, the person is highlighting that why there should not be any contractions. I am not. The person has used I have. Here, you are supposed to write the full thing. You cannot go with the shortcut. If you're writing please, it should not be PLZ. If you're writing I am not, it should not be I am not, I am or not. It should be full. I am writing to arrange meeting for you with the principal, partner, comma, correct punctuation at proper time. Mr. Jenkins. Before the name, the comma has to be there. Okay. Look for the other. Would either next Tuesday or Wednesday always write down the full. It should not be like Tuesday, so TUE, Wednesday to so WED. No, you have to bring in the proper format of the words. Okay, Tuesday should be written in full. Wednesday should be written in full. The T is always supposed to be capital. So you should know all these things. The date should be in that order. Okay, if you're writing month, June, so it should be full. Jan should not be there. Okay, it should be completely full. Give options, formal vocabulary. What about meeting up next or meet up? Be convenient for you. Very polite question, and very polite question means using of modals, and detailed information should be there. Okay, here note out. Please note that I have attached the draft contract for you to read. Okay, for your perusal. It may be sounding very different to the person who may not be able to understand the things. So that's why you have to use a very plain English. Plain English, referring to the attachments. Attachment has to be mentioned if you are going to attach certain things. And we'll send you the look. I have attached the draft contract for you to read, and we'll send you the related report as soon as it is complete. Standard ellipsis, subject I have already stated. Promised action will plus verb 1. I will send you the related information. I look forward to hear from you. The last positive closing. Here is the complete thing, or it should be always from the corner. See, subject, meeting with Mr. Jenkins, dear Brian. Further, everything is completely in sync. Okay. See the punctuation, see the use of modals, see the use of uh, salutation from the beginning, structure. All these are following certain structure. If you're writing your name, or your entire name should not be in the capital word. So it has to be one word, one letter of the word, particular word of your name should be capital. It should not be. And people do have tendency of writing their words in a capital. If you highlight the words in capital, it means you are becoming a little bit harsh. Don't do that. This is the perfect structure of a particular mail. A greeting should be there, refer to the previous contact if it is there, or introduce the topic, introduce the things, the beginning, the background has to be there, and then purpose and the background and the content. It has to have a request, information, you have to authorize, refer to attachments, it has to have a promise action that what you're going to do, close positively, point to future, and sign off. Content, check your grammar and spelling, use proper structure and layout, be efficient. Email that get to the point are much more effective. Emails that get to the point are much more effective. Address all the questions or concerns to avoid delays. Read the email before you send it. I told you already. Reread, rephrase. Try to keep the email brief. One screen length. Don't try to put up lots of things. Content don'ts. Use sarcasm or rude jokes. Don't do that. Respond if you are upset. Sometimes what we do when we do receive an email and that email is really very upsetting, then we all of a sudden we also do respond. So on that time, take rest. Okay, some time to cool off and consider appropriate response. Then uh, attaching unnecessary files. Please don't do that. The files which are really required, you are supposed to attach those only. Unnecessary files, try to not to add or attach. Use of capitals. Capitals are not supposed to be used all the time. Okay, because it sounds a very negative in the tone. Leave out the message thread. People do try to leave out the message thread. They don't want to see all the, like, just avoid doing it. Please don't do avoid. Okay, don't leave out the message thread. Use long sentences. People sometimes use long sentences. They do try to exaggerate. I'll give you the example just after this slide. Leave irrelevant information. Sometimes people do feel that these are irrelevant, so please leave it out. No, sometimes some information, in a very, even a small information can be fruitful. Uh, I'm going to read out these things, okay, in order to just uh, make you again recapping the things, okay, recapping the things, okay. Structure of an email. An email is a form of communication. As such, it has a specific structure that should be used. Since reading from a screen is more difficult than reading from the paper, you guys can understand that the structure and the layout of messages is very important. Use short paragraphs and leave blank lines between them. When you have more than one point to make in your email, put the most important information first, working down to the last important. In the beginning, why the beginning is really very important. A successful email has a good first paragraph. Why? It tells the reader why you have written the email so that they can decide whether to keep reading. It is concise and to the point. It gives the most important information first. If it is a long email, it should give an overview of the entire message so it holds the reader's attention. See the example, guys. Look here, have to read it out because just see the message, how the person has written. Subject line, email viruses. So person is going to talk about email viruses. Okay. Dear all, RMIT is a large university. Okay. All staff are on the email system. There have been occasions when an email virus has been sent to our employees. Many employees were not sure how to respond to this problem. Some employees forwarded these emails to others and the virus was able to spread. The university now has a policy in place to prevent the spread of such problems in future. All staff should notify a technical services officer immediately if they suspect they have received the virus. Technical service units. Analysis. The previous email, we'll see the below email, has problems with the beginning. See, okay, they are too much unnecessary information. So how the person is exaggerating the things. Okay, the important information comes at the end, at the last sentence. See the example. Dear all staffs are advised to contact technical service officers immediately on suspicion of an email virus. Early awareness and detection should prevent future problems. Technical service units. That's it. It tells the reader the purpose of the email in first sentence. There is no unnecessary information. It is short, concise, and to the point. I'll just discuss about these points, then we will end the session. Okay. Make it polite and positive. Examples. Application will not be accepted after June 30th, okay, 2003. Compare. Please return applications before June 30th, 2003. See the difference. The person is adding please, even though that are supposed to be submitted by any of the person, but it has to be in a that tone. Making request. When making request, it's a good idea to use a modal or conditional construction such as could you or would you be able to. Example, it is urgent that you fill out this form and return it promptly. Compare. Could you please fill out the form as we require it urgently? See the language, see the tone. It's not harsh, but the meaning is completely clear.